To come. Stuart Pollitt, BBC North West Tonight, Liverpool.
Leaky roofs and a rebuild at the Bronte, and the same at Old Trafford as well. We've got a bit of a theme going this evening, haven't we? We're going to be off to the theatre in a minute with a couple of fairly famous guests for you to talk to, or for you to listen to. But before that, the hidden 200-year-old story of a massacre in Lancashire's cotton industry is set to be passed on to a new generation thanks to a £170,000 grant from the National Lottery. You may or may not have ever heard of this. It happened in 1826. Around 6 people died when a soldiers opened fire on thousands of protesting mill workers. Isabel Fry will fill in the details for you.
This is the site of the Chatterton Massacre. Over 3,000 protesting mill workers led a march to this tiny town, targeting mills and destroying their new equipment which threatened their livelihood. As they gathered here, they were read the Riot Act before soldiers fired into the crowds. It happened in 1826, just 7 years after the Peterloo Massacre, which is taught in schools and has a memorial for the people who died. So why don't we hear about this one?
Almost immediately, the language of massacre and rising was removed, and this became known as a riot. So one of the kind of reasons why this became so hidden was because the use of the language of riot was deployed rather than that of rising and massacre. People never got the sense that people had been shot dead, because what is there in the term riot that indicates killings of bystanders and killings of people who are simply engaging in protest?
Dr. David Scott stumbled over a memorial of the deaths while walking his rescue dog Flossie. When he rescued her, she needed to be retrained and taught to walk properly.
I decided to find places where I could take her, where actually she could be safe and she could run around. So I brought her down here, and I'd never heard of the uprising or the massacre before then. But as I started to think, well, this is a peace park, why is it called that? So when I started to learn about this, I thought, this is a real major injustice. Why is it that you had this terrible event that hasn't been forgotten in the broader sense, although many people don't know about it, but it has been mystified, it's become hidden.
David was moved to do more research and began learning about how the uprising broke out, leading him to opening a charity, and even Flossie leading the charge on a 45-mile memorial walk.
So in a certain way, I never would have known about this, and I never would have actually been able to undertake the remembrance walk without Flossie's contribution.
So now you've got an £170,000 grant from the National Lottery. What are you going to do with that money?
We're going to have exhibitions, we're going to have theatre productions, we're going to have singing, we're going to have walks, we're going to have talks. We're creating education resources. So for the first time, this will actually be taught in primary schools.
Thanks to Dr. David and Flossie's work, this will be introduced in schools in September, and activities will begin next year. Isabel Fry, BBC North West Tonight, Chatterton.
Well done, Flossie, and Dr. David as well. The nearly forgotten story of the massacre at Chatterton near Ramsbottom.